in action. Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
We're going live.
Let's go.
Going live. First week of NFL playoffs are this weekend. Should be a good time. College football playoff semifinals. NBA's heating up. College basketball's heating up.
College football is what, Friday?
Friday, Saturday? No, Thursday, Friday. Sorry.
Thursday?
College
Friday.
football is Thursday, Friday. NFL is Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so guess that's just how they do it. Good
Nice.
times. Yeah, good times. So see what happens. Start it up, NFL.
Yeah, let's go.
Or do we have a WAG Talk conversation? We haven't heard from our WAG Talk
I don't know.
connoisseur.
I don't know what is happening. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Kristen Juszczyk started a new brand.
Her own specific brand?
Yeah, it's called Off Season,
Off season.
I think.
Is it she just makes clothes?
Juszczyk clothing line.
Designs by Kristen.
No. Off Season, yeah.
Off
All right,
season. There
I
you
got
go,
it.
Chris. Okay.
It just started like a day or two ago.
What does it say she's gonna do?
It's like puffer jackets.
Oh, so kind of like what she used to wear to the games.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, they're expensive.
Well, yeah.
So that's what they look like. If you haven't seen them,
Oh, one's a vest.
yep, you got vests, you got puffer jacket. There's only certain teams that are in it. It's the 49ers, Chiefs, Eagles, Lions, and Bills. That include puffer jackets, $375 and up.
Okay.
Puffer vests, $295 and up, and long coats, $495 and up.
So do you think she's just making these?
They will be sold online at NFLshop.com, Fanatics, and team sites.
So she has to have other people that's like she's working with to help make them, right?
She probably designed them,
And then she has people that make
now
them.
they're at a larger scale operation that are creating
The production.
the production, yeah,
Got it.
of the items.
Interesting.
I mean, that seems like pretty hefty amounts of money for these things.
Yeah, but I feel like she throws her name on it. I mean, do you remember how much she got? I mean, do you remember how much love she got for those jackets she just made? I mean, she would come to every game and do that.
Yeah, but that's a one-on-one.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah,
More lucrative.
interesting. Unique business model too. I mean, it's not like they need the money, but
Yeah, but she's got to have something going on.
yeah, you'd think.
They're not in the playoffs, so they got more time.
What is it called? Off season, you said?
Yeah, off season.
Yeah, so that's what she does in off season. Good
But
for
it's
her.
also with British entrepreneur Emma Greedy, which apparently she's like very involved with other brands that have been very successful.
Emma
So-
Greedy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know.
So
if
she's
that's
going
just right.
international.
I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah,
There you go.
NFL fanatics. And
That's what we
British.
got. That's all I got. That's all
Yeah.
the info that I have.
I mean, there's some other tea going on with some sports talk, but we're not getting into the depth. We'll go NFL. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay,
What I'm
NFL.
talking about?
We're a couple days past, same week of what do they call the Monday after the
Isn't it called Black Monday?
maybe in the
I think it's called
NFL,
Black Monday.
the day that all of the coaches that have not been fired that are going to likely happens on Monday, so they can start the process of figuring out
after Black Monday.
who the next coach is.
Yeah.
We've got 6 openings.
Yeah, 6 openings. Yeah. So we got the Saints, Patriots, Bears, Jaguars, Jets, Raiders. So
We got the Jets, the Saints, and the Bears are
Bears.
the ones in season.
they had interim coaches. Yeah.
Most likely gonna have somebody else.
Raiders. Antonio Pierce was an interim coach, I think,
Last year.
last year, and then
Then they hired him for this year. Now
Doug Pearson's been at the Jags for a decent 3 years, I think they said.
I think 3
and
years sounds
then-
right.
Gerard Mayo, one and done.
1 year.
Which I
What do you
always
think
think
about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I always think it's interesting because it's like, so you hire the guy.
Yep.
He has a rookie quarterback.
He played for you.
He played for you. It was a huge hire. You have a rookie quarterback who didn't even play the first few games.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Which is a good thing.
And your team stinks. Okay, let's be
So
honest. The
bad.
Patriots were never going to finish. Would they finish fourth in that conference? Probably almost
Fourth
close
in
to
the division.
in the division. I mean, but I'm saying
Yes.
like they were probably close to the. They probably actually had just as many wins as the Jets.
Well, considering they're one of the worst teams in the NFL, they were last in their division.
Yeah. So when you have that, you hire the guy, and then you fire the guy, and you come out and you say, Robert Kraft basically came out and was like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't really a good situation for him." Well, no shit, dude, because you guys didn't do anything.
It wasn't a good situation for anybody. Let's be honest.
Like it's unfortunate that these guys now become head coaches, and don't get me wrong. I mean, he had no coaching experience before that, so it wasn't like he was like this big name guy. It was like, oh, you're a former player. You probably can connect
And he was
with
a
these young
coach
guys.
in New England.
He was like the defensive guy, wasn't he, or something?
I don't know what his position was.
Yeah. So it's also just interesting where it's like he wins the last game of the year to take them out of getting the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
And then proceeds to get fired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's crazy with these coaches. And don't get me wrong, there's probably plenty of other better coaches out there, and he obviously didn't do the job. But if you're just consistently changing coaches, your team is always going to be trash. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
in that division, you are going to be the bottom.
But who knows if there's better coaches or not better coaches? You only gave them 1 year.
Exactly. You didn't even let them develop.
Roster.
Terrible roster. Your quarterback, like you said, was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get the whole firing stuff. Like, I understand if they've been there a little bit, like the Jaguars. Okay, Doug Peterson, you guys have been kind of bad the last 2 years. And also, I think sometimes with Doug Peterson, and don't get me wrong, it's easier said than done, but I think they just overcoach sometimes. Like, you have good players. You have one of the best rookie wide receivers in the league.
Yep.
You have a quarterback, granted he was injured here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but you have a good young quarterback who had a bad year, but you take away some of his weapons, and then you also do this running back shit where it's like, we're going to play 3 running backs. Even though Travis Etienne last year was a top 10, 15 running back.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, he might not be the best running back, but let him go. Just let them play.
Right.
Like, you look at these good teams, they don't split carries like that. And then the Bears, I just don't think Eberflus was ever really the guy. I mean, doesn't take a rocket scientist to know his coaching decisions were god-awful. He doesn't know how to use timeouts. He doesn't know what that means. So it's like he deserved to be gone.
What about the Saints? You're on a roll. Keep it going.
Well, I will say this, the caveat too, the Saints were terrible. The hard part about the Saints, or hard part anyways with interim head coaches, is it just is hard to do it. I mean, he was a special teams coach. I don't think he was ever planning to be there long term.
What about Dennis Allen?
He got fired. Wait.
That was the guy who got fired.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's hard. Your players are not performing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, you started out the year and the Saints were the team that was like, holy crap, they're good. They're scoring 40 points a game.
The first 2 games, yeah.
They dominated the Cowboys. They dominated their first game.
They set themselves up for failure when they were so good the first 2 games.
Right, you peaked.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's hard.
A little early.
It's hard because your number 1 wide receiver is hurt every game. So you don't really have a number 1 wide receiver. You have a good running back. Derek Carr gets hurt a ton, but you only have 1 weapon, and it's just like, you're not very good. And their defense was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that. The most disappointing one, or I think if you look at these 6 teams.
Well, wait, you're almost there. What about the Jets?
That's what I was going to say. The Jets are the most appealing roster.
You think?
100%. You have Breece Hall, very good. Your defense actually is and should be decent if you have the right coach. I think the hard part when you have interim head coaches and you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who I don't think will be back, you just don't have that camaraderie, and it's like you don't have that. Like, he's a veteran guy who doesn't really give a crap. Sorry, he just doesn't care. There's nobody in this world that told me Aaron Rodgers had a good season. Nobody. You can't.
I mean, they shouldn't.
He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league with weapons like Breece Hall, top 5 running back last year, last year before this year. Garrett Wilson, supposed to be a top 10 wide receiver.
Yep.
And then you bring over Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, even with his age, still top probably 20 wide receiver. You're terrible. And your defense was garbage. But
True.
So that's my rant.
But you think that they're the best roster out of those 6?
I would say out of them, it's them and the Bears.
Well, who's number 1?
I would say the Jets still.
Really?
Yeah, because the Bears, I think the Bears, well, Keenan Allen will be gone.
Okay.
And then so you have a rookie quarterback. Yeah, Devontae. Well, I think it's a package deal. I don't know if they'll keep Aaron. If Aaron stays, Devontae stays. If Aaron doesn't come back, Devontae's gone, yes. But I don't know. I think your defense has something to work with. Bears defense was good. I think the Jets are more appealing to me than the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been terrible. I mean,
What about the Jaguars?
No, gross.
What about the Patriots?
Gross. Even grosser. Patriots are just...
They got a lot of cap space.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with it. I think they just don't have the rust. They need a lot of pieces.
They got a good pick and a lot of cap space.
Yes, we'll see.
Okay.
Raiders are the worst, probably, to be honest.
So if you were a coach, you'd want to go to the Jets?
Jets, then Bears, and then the other three are kind of mixed, and then the Raiders are below. I don't want to go to Las Vegas. It's horrible.
Okay.
So that's mine, yeah.
All right, there you go. There you have it.
Who would you would say the Bears?
I'd probably go to the Jags.
Jags.
Yeah.
Jacksonville life.
One, live in Florida. Taxes.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Second, you got good offensive pieces.
Yeah, you have
and
2 or 3.
And you're in a terrible division. One of the worst in the NFL, which means that you have a better chance. Like, if you're going to the Bears, good luck. You got the Lions, who are going to be good for the next 10 years. You got the Vikings, who are going to be good for the next 20 years. And you got the Packers, who are always consistently just above average.
Yeah, they're a little above average. But, yeah, it's a hard conference.
It's a hard division.
It's a hard division.
So then you're like, all right, well, if we're going to be good, then we got to compete with all those guys. That's 6 games right there.
Yeah.
Just trying to go 500.
Yeah, I would say the Jags, they definitely have some work. I mean, I think they are obviously.
Well, yeah.
Titans
They fired their coach for a reason, so like, obviously they have some work to do.
Yeah,
but
depends what they can get. I mean, it's just their division isn't. I mean, they could make a push. I think the Texans will be pretty good for a while. That division is that, and the Buccaneers division is the worst.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, but they never make changes.
No,
happens so.
There you go. But it is playoff time.
It is playoff time, as we all know. Monday night or Sunday night last week, tough game for the Vikes.
Very tough game.
I will say this, and I was watching when I was watching the game, and this is obviously very biased.
All right, you get 45 seconds to.
This is my thing.
Talk about the game.
So first of all, they missed a face mask on Sam Darnold again. Easy, clear call. You have 2 guys looking at it, and apparently there's sometimes you can review a face mask and sometimes you can't. We've seen that happen.
That's weird.
Then
it should be yes or no.
What do you mean?
Like, you can or you can't, but it can't be sometimes yes, sometimes no.
No, I agree.
Yes or no.
But that's what I'm saying. There's been games where they do it, review it, and they throw the flag later.
That's weird. And
then the second thing was Jared Goff. Everybody knows that was intentional grounding in the end zone. Mm-hmm. He threw it to nobody.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you not see that? How does no one see that? And I get it. In today's day and age, I get you want to make it so you don't slow down the game a ton. You have to make the right call, though. That's a huge deciding call. Granted,
there's points associated with it.
There's points associated with it, and it would be our ball. Mm-hmm. Granted, don't get me wrong, we probably still wouldn't have scored a touchdown even if you gave it to us on the 5-yard line, which is a whole nother story. But I'm just saying, it's like, it doesn't make sense. And then it's all of a sudden you get these, you watch some games or when the Chiefs play or when other teams play, and it's like they do all these like expedited reviews and all this shit. It's like, can we buy a foul? Like, can we what do we need to do this? It's like if a guy, like you said, if a guy gets face masked, it's a face mask. Mm-hmm. Intentional grounding is intentional grounding. I don't care who does it, it's a penalty.
Yep.
Just call it the same way, and we'll see how these playoff goes. Obviously, we know what happened last time. I think I ranted about it last time we played the Rams because that was an actual face mask again.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we'll see. I understand they're human beings, but you got to get it right. You got 12 of you out there.
True.
Figure it out. That's my 45. That was a minute 45 probably. But
that's okay.
I'll take my time.
Yeah. You got a little extra time.
But yeah, playoffs are on. Yeah.
So we got the Chiefs and the Lions that get the bye. We'll talk about them later.
Yeah.
Saturday games. Texans-Chargers 4-5 matchup in the AFC. Mm-hmm. And you got the Ravens-Steelers 3-6 matchup in the AFC. Mm-hmm. Which game are you more interested in on Saturday and why?
Texans-Chargers.
Okay.
By a landslide, I think.
Because why?
Because I think the Chargers are a very good team, but I also am interested to see what the Texans can do. Obviously, the Texans have had an okay year. Like you said, we've already talked about their division being the worst in the league, but
High hopes.
Defense. Good coach. Obviously, injuries have done a few things to your offense.
Mm-hmm.
But, the only reason I'm saying them too is because I think the second game, I've said this off air, I think the Ravens will win by 20. I think the Steelers are horrible.
Okay.
And they're playing horrible football.
So you take the Ravens minus 9.5.
Yeah.
Easily?
Easily.
Okay.
Easily. So you have an MVP potential, Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Steelers haven't scored more than 17 points the last 5 games. It's pretty tough to win if you don't score more than 17 points against a good offensive team in the Ravens.
It probably helps that the Ravens didn't beat the Steelers the first time because, saying it's always tough to beat a team 3 times. Well, this would only be number 2.
Yep. So they're fine. That doesn't apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always weird when teams in the same division play each other the first game of the playoffs.
Right.
Because it's like you end the regular season playing at least one, most of the time 2. The last 2 opponents of the regular season are from your division. So chances are one of those games is going to be against the team if you do play somebody from your division the first round of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So it's always a little weird to me.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
matched up.
So,
but I agree, the Ravens are going to come out and smoke them.
Yeah, I just don't see how. I think there's a different intensity when it gets to playoffs, and it's like you said, it's in their division. They did, just play, but I don't think that matters for the Ravens. You have a Hall of Fame coach who's going to get them ready, and I do think they're going to smoke them.
Yep. All right, so then we move to Sunday. We got the Bills-Broncos first game. That's noon on Sunday.
Yeah. That's actually gone down by a lot. That started out 10.5 point favorites, Bills.
Now it's 8.5.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's gone down a little bit. People love the Broncos.
Broncos are going to keep it close.
That's what they think.
You got Eagles-Packers, 3:30. So you got the back-to-back 2-7 games.
Mm-hmm.
AFC, then NFC. Then you got the 3-6 Bucks hosting the Commanders, 7 p.m. Sunday night.
Yeah, I think.
Give me one of those games, then why you're the most excited about that game.
I think it'll be the Bucks versus the Commanders. I think it'll be very exciting to see what Jaden Daniels can do. Obviously, rookie quarterback, stud.
Mm-hmm.
They're 12-5. They had a great year under him, and don't get me wrong. And the Bucks, I think the Bucks, if they still had Godwin, it would be different. But I do think that game will be very close, high scoring. It should be a little bit of a shootout. But yeah, the other 2 games are going to be freezing cold, so I don't know if points are going to be able to plethora.
Does it surprise you that the Eagles are only 4.5 point favorites against the Packers? Or does that seem about right to you? It seems low.
It seems a little low, but I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't go even over 6.5. I think it's going to be a 1-score game.
Yeah, just for the difference between, maybe not a lot, but I don't know. It seems like 4.5 to 6.5 would be a big jump.
Kind of though. It's still within the same. It's still less than a touchdown.
Yeah.
And still more than a field goal. I don't know. I don't think they would be over a touchdown. I think here's the problem with the Eagles, is the defense is very good. Mm-hmm. Is Jalen Hurts going to be able to play? Hopefully, potentially.
I think he's going to play. Isn't he?
Yeah. Apparently, has he passed concussion protocol?
I don't know.
I guess they're all hopeful for it, but even then, Packers, Jordan Love, that offense. I don't know. I don't think it will be very high scoring. So I think they keep it close. I think the Eagles still win 4.5. I would probably take 4.5, but I think it's going to be right around 4 or 5 point win for the Eagles. And to be honest, I will say this, and this is probably the only time I'll ever say this in my life. If the Packers win, that's not a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
That's like an amazing thing.
If we win. There's a caveat to it.
Well, yeah.
If the Packers win and the Vikings lose, I'm just going to shut
That
off.
would be bad news.
Yeah, done. But if we win and the Packers win, it's great.
That is great.
So, which game are you looking forward to?
On Sunday?
Yeah.
Probably the Bucks Commanders. It's the only game that really is like, ooh, both teams have a possibility to win, like, very easily.
There's a decent chance.
The Broncos are not beating the Bills.
Yeah.
There's
a decent chance that the 2 games, the Broncos, Bills, and the Packers, Eagles, there's a very high chance that those 2 games could be just disastrous. The Bills might destroy the Broncos, and to be honest, if the Packers don't keep up, the Eagles could smoke them.
Yes,
so,
easily.
And Christian Watson's out. Not saying he's a huge part, but he's for sure out. He tore his ACL.
Oh, he did?
Year, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, towards ACL. And I think the Bucs have a lot to prove. I think you have a good offense. Both defenses necessarily aren't great.
Iffy.
Both defenses really aren't.
Yeah, Washington's defense has picked it up the second half of the year.
Yeah, they've been decent. Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think this is where Baker Mayfield shows what he can do. He's had a great season.
And Jay Daniels.
And Jay Daniels.
See what he can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, first year rookie. Baker Mayfield also Pro Bowl snub. Might have a little chip on his shoulder. So
really,
yeah,
because it was Darnold and Goff.
It was Darnold, Goff, and somebody else. There's 3.
And then the AFC was Burrow, Allen, and Lamar.
Yeah, it was Jalen Hurts. Had to have been Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's tough.
I mean, he threw for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. I mean,
Baker.
Yeah, it's pretty good stats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had a good year.
That's tough.
But it's hard because it's like you just said, who are you going to replace? You ain't replacing Jared Goff. Sam Darnold had probably the year of his career.
Vikings also had 14 wins.
Yeah. And it's Jalen freaking Hurts. He's going to do it every year.
Jalen Hurts, he had 15 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Whatever he had.
I mean, it's going to be the same thing every year.
It's going to be pretty tough threesome to crack.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts had 18 pass touchdowns, 2,900 pass yards, 5 interceptions. Rushing, he had 630 and 14 touchdowns.
14.
So he had 32 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough.
Well, I think we can both agree game of the weekend, though.
I mean, ours.
Monday night.
Well, 100%.
Obviously.
I mean, to be honest.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Hopefully we perform a little bit better.
Yep.
Than last time, but...
Okay, give me your one key to the game for the Vikes winning.
The key to the game?
Just one. You get one key to the game. If this happens, then we win. Or this is the most important thing for the Vikes so that they win.
I think we have to get Sam Darnold comfortable early.
Okay.
I think when
How
you
do we
look...
do that?
When you do it easy passes, and you also... Jordan Addison, I don't even know if he had a catch last game. You have to get your star players
had
involved.
One catch for 0 yards.
Yeah, so you got to get your... Don't get me wrong, Jefferson is the focal point. Jordan Addison has had an unbelievable year. So also get him involved. You know Aaron Jones and Hawkinson. You have the best weapons. And to be honest, you got to get them comfortable early because I do think this game... I know last game was over-under was like a 56 against the Lions. And it wasn't even
that
close.
high?
It was very high.
It might have been a little less.
It was over 50s.
Yeah.
And this is at 47.5. I could see this game becoming more of a shootout.
47.5.
Rams offense, very good.
Oh, I would smash the over.
Yeah, very good.
Oh my goodness.
So I think you got to get him comfortable because he's going to have to make big throws. He missed a handful of easy throws that he's been making all year last game, and I think sometimes
47.5.
Yeah,
that's easy. I mean, that's number 6. That's a 6-pointer.
Yeah, potentially.
Oh,
I mean, 1 point spread is literally a pick 'em, so it's like also pretty easy. But I do think here's the thing is like when you look at Sam Darnold, and I think I heard somebody else say this. I don't know who it was. The hard part of his last game, we got into the mode of trying to play a different style than we normally play. This whole season, we've gone for it on 4th down twice. Yeah. We went for it on 4th down twice in 1 quarter.
They said that when we were down there and we were going for it on our first drive, and they were like, the Vikings are actually one of the lowest 4th down attempts in the league.
Yeah.
Because they
went for it twice all year.
No, more than that. They've attempted 10 4th downs the whole, I think it was.
I heard something they say twice.
I thought it was 10.
Either way, it's one of the lowest.
Yeah.
And the
whole league.
The difference is the problem with it is when you get down to the 4 or 5 yard line and you decide not to run the ball, when you're saying hike, like you have to make a quick decision. There was plenty of times Addison was wide open, he didn't hit him. And then it's like, okay, so once you start running in circles, you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And so it's like, make the quick decision or at least once or twice try to run it. The hard part was Aaron Jones was in and out of the game with more injuries, which is tough because, don't get me wrong, Cam Akers had a decent run, but he's not Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones looked electric the few runs he had.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's hard also when they only have to rush 4 guys and they're getting a ton of pressure on you because there's all these guys in the end zone. There's no space.
Right.
So I would say this. The one piece of advice is the one piece of advice I would say, or not advice, the one thing I would look for is if you're going to go for it on 4th down and Justin Jefferson is 1-on-1, fucking do something with him. Like, he was one-on-one multiple times,
Yeah.
and your first look was like Addison, who was open, didn't throw it to him, and then you're like, oh shit, I got to scramble.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
Minnesota.
What is this?
This is fourth down conversion percentage.
We don't want percentage. We want total amount. Look at that right. Go down. Fourth down.
Per game? Fourth down conversions per game?
Yeah. And then go up.
0.4. So do 0.4 times 17.
Yeah, 0.4 times 17. What is that?
All I know is, whatever it is, we were dead last. We all saw this. We were dead last.
We were last.
So it's crazy that it's like we...
0.1 would be...
0.4 times, what did I say? 17?
Yeah.
6.
Okay. So
and we went for it 3 times.
So that was conversions. So we successfully converted 7.
Yeah, so we probably... Well, then we had to have gone for more than 10, yeah. Probably 13 or 14. Well, then you would have to go to the conversion rate. Though. Because then you'd have to say this is... Your rate is 46%.
So 46% of 7. So 1.47 times 7.
Yeah. So it's about 14 or 15. Because wouldn't 2 be...
46, yeah.
Yeah, so if you were 50%, that means, and you got it 7 times, that means you didn't get it 7 times. So yeah, it's about 13. Yeah. Okay. And we went for it 3 times!
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right, about 10. That's crazy. So yeah, maybe we stick away from that trend.
Yeah. And
we just play our own game. So I think you got to get comfortable and you got to... I mean, it's going to be one of those games. You can't go down by 2 scores because we have to be able to run the ball. Mm-hmm. So Aaron Jones has to stay healthy and we have to be able to run the ball.
I think Cam Akers,
he's looked fine.
Dude, when he busted off that run and he got caught at the 5-yard line, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? You couldn't just get 5 more yards and get in the end zone. Now you have to do this all over again?
Well, it got to a point, and this might sound horrible, it got to a point when it was literally like, okay, we are doing, like, we got that interception. And it was at like the 8-yard line. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go again. Same thing.
Like, we almost would rather just get it at the 50 and let us try to get a long play because this ain't working.
Yeah. All right, but anyways, vibes are high.
I would say the vibes are high. I think you got to just come out swinging. You just got to play your game.
You got to go for it.
Yeah.
I think optimistic for this game for sure.
No, I think optimism is very high. I mean,
and let's be honest, we're probably kind of glad that not everybody's like, oh, Vikes. We're picking them for sure.
Right.
Now everybody's off us, which is just how we want it.
Yeah, 100%.
Get off of us. Let's do our own thing.
So all the fake ones can hop off the bandwagon. I do think it is very funny how, this is the last thing I'll say quick, how all these people who were riding the Vikings when we were high, Sam Darnold has one bad game and everyone's like, he sucks. Yeah. Dude, he's horrible. It's like, dude, what? It's one game.
He's a Pro Bowl guy, and he's been having a great game. Or a great year.
Yeah. So it is.
But we'll see.
We will see. That we will.
Do you think there's going to be any upsets?
Like not covered. I think the Commanders
like
could
winning.
Win. Commanders.
Is that the only one? And the Vikes, obviously.
Well, the Vikes are favorites, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say Commanders, underdogs.
But underdog technically based off seed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're saying seeding, not spread?
Yeah.
Well, I would say Chargers.
Essentially, I guess any away team that you think is going to win.
I would say Chargers, and I would say Commanders, and then Vikings.
Okay. For some reason?
I think the Chargers are almost, I don't want to say locked, but I think the Chargers are going to win.
You think?
I think the Chargers offense is good.
I was just going to say for some reason, I think the Texans might figure out a way to win that game.
I just don't know. Their offense just is, and don't get me wrong, it's CJ Stroud, but
he's up and down, but he could be up.
Yeah, but you know what else? He could also be down.
It's true. That is how it works.
So yeah, that's it for me. That's all I got.
Okay.
Should be a fun weekend now. You got a lot of football.
Yeah, a lot. So if you're a football person, it's going to be a good weekend for you.
Should be. Yeah, should be.
And then you just wait till Monday night.
Yeah,
again.
Nervous.
Had to wait till Sunday night last week. Got to wait till Monday night this week.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens. We'll see second round games, but we've talked about this off air.
Yeah,
There could be a lot of heat that comes in this
rundown.
next week's podcast if the Vikings win.
First of all, I think you agreed that it's stupid that there's a Monday night playoff game.
Yeah, I said this right away too. I said, well, yeah, we talked about it. I said there should be 3 games Saturday,
3 games Saturday,
3 games Sunday. Give everyone the same benefit.
12, 3:37.
Yeah.
12, 3:37.
Because there's a huge difference between playing on a Saturday or a Sunday and then having to play, like if you play Sunday and then having to play Saturday the next week versus you play Monday night and then play
just
Saturday.
one game less.
Right.
Or one day less.
And you're not traveling because all these teams will have to travel.
Yeah.
For most part.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think the thing is, so hypothetically, if the Vikings win and there's no other upsets, the Vikings would then play in Detroit.
Yep.
And the difference is what we talked about off air was
short week for us regardless,
short
even
work,
if we play Sunday.
going to Detroit, and the problem is on top of it, hypothetically, if we had to play Saturday, that's where the heat would come in because it's like we played Monday and we get 4 days rest and a 5th day, travel day, whatever, and then you play Detroit.
And also, I don't know, if you play Sunday the first week and then you play Saturday, although it's different than playing Monday to Sunday in the playoffs.
Right.
You know, like if you play Sunday and you play on Saturday the next week, okay, like it's still a weekend day. If you're going from Monday already into the next week and then you have to turn around and play on Sunday, I don't know, that just feels different to me.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we'll see what happens. I mean, you would think that since everything next week or the second round is all able to be flexed, that everything, like you should make it where whoever plays or whoever wins Monday doesn't have to play Saturday.
Don't you think that they would want Vikings Lions rematch Sunday night?
Yeah, maybe.
I
We
feel
don't want
like
Sunday night.
I mean,
that much. We want Sunday random time. Just let us play our game.
well, it'd be 2-2 Saturday, Sunday, so it would probably be, honestly, it would probably be Sunday night.
Yeah.
Or
no,
it would be Ravens Bills Sunday night. But that just seems like a midday game to me.
So yeah.
Either Saturday prime time or Sunday midday.
Are the games at 3 and 7?
I feel like it's at like
2:30
and 6. Yeah, because remember how the second round of playoff games is always amazing because it ends at like 9:30 and it's like, wow, we have the whole night left ahead of us.
Yeah. Also a subtle plug why the West Coast is the best time to watch football. Right there.
Then it's 1 more hour. No, remember? I think I had changed mine to mountain time.
Yeah. You got specific after whatever. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got for NFL. Big weekend. Skull.
All right.
See what happens.
You'll be able to tell our mood based off of next week's pod.
Yep. Oh yeah. Big time. So there
all
it is.
Right. We're moving on to college basketball. We haven't talked to college basketball in a while. A lot has changed. Teams have gone to they're right around 15 games played. We're into the conference games.
Mm-hmm.
So
now it's starting to get to the time where it's kind of like
you gotta start prepping.
A lot of games, and these are the games that are way more I don't know, I'm gonna say way more meaningful. I think every game is, but when you look at it, it is one of those where it's like, okay, you're playing in the same conference, and so every game is usually pretty good. Obviously, we're watching the 2 right here live. Duke is smoking Pittsburgh, and Tennessee is getting shit on by Florida. Sorry for my language, but most of the time, they're very good games.
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's always hard too because in college, like we've said, going on the road is so much different, especially during the week.
Mm-hmm.
They seem so much different because they obviously play Saturday, but it just seems during the week games there always seems to be a little bit more upsets because that's just how it goes.
Yep.
At least that's what it seems like.
Yep.
My eyes, so
agreed. All right, so we're gonna run through top 25
rankings.
If you're not in the top 25, too bad.
Get there next week.
Yep.
There'll be plenty of movement.
Maybe we'll talk about you next week, but we're gonna go break it down in pockets of 5, and we'll just give a little info on one of the teams each, so that you can start to understand about the teams as we are now into January, and after February, we all know what March is about.
Yeah. And I will say, I think now with the NIL, a lot of these teams are a lot closer, and it's still kind of getting
what?
like there's not as much divide. Like there's a lot more teams that are good, and like top heavy conferences. I mean, you look at the what is it? The SEC. SEC has
SEC is very good.
9 out of their 16 teams are top 25.
They're very solid.
So they're very solid. So it's
I'm
always
not sure
crazy.
the exact breakdown, but they do have 3 out of the top 5 teams.
Yeah, and then you have Kentucky
And then
Florida.
Kentucky's 6.
Florida, so you have 5 out of 8.
It's true.
Decent average.
All right, so top 5.
Yep, top 5.
Currently,
Yep.
because Tennessee will drop because
They probably would still be in the top 5 though.
Yeah, that's true. They are undefeated. They're the only undefeated team in the whole top 25.
You're also losing to a Florida team is pretty good. Yeah.
But you got to think they'll at least drop down a little bit.
Oh, they won't be. Well, the thing is,
They'll probably drop down to 3.
3 or 4, depending on how the other teams do. But yes.
Yeah, probably 3 or 4.
Yep.
All right, so you got Tennessee number 1, Auburn number 2.
Yep.
Iowa State 3, Duke 4, Alabama 5.
Now, are we going AP, right?
We're going AP.
Okay, just to clarify, no coaches, AP.
Yep.
AP.
AP.
I think the team that's fun to watch is, Auburn is a very fun team to watch. I mean, they had that issue on the plane early, and I actually think, I don't know, they've only lost 1 game. They have the player of the year potential.
The guy got kicked out.
He punched him in the nuts.
Oh,
There's 30 seconds. He didn't want to shake hands.
Yeah.
Johnny Broom or Joni Broom or something like that. Janai Broom. Unbelievable player. They're solid. They're fun to watch.
I think he might be player of the year leader right now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's averaging over a double-double.
For the number 2 team in the country.
Number 2 team in the country. They're very good. 13-1. So I think that's a team to watch. I mean, they beat Houston early, and I think that kind of put them on the map, and now they're just kind of steadily staying there. So they're a fun team.
It's interesting too because the top 5 teams, they are all in the same position that they were in last week's rankings as well. They're the only 5. Well, I guess Purdue stayed the same at 20, but the top 5 have stuck in place for 2 weeks. Everybody else is moving around, which I think that's interesting.
Well, I think, like you said before, even with Tennessee losing, if all these other teams win, like Duke will just smoke them. And I think Iowa State was winning too, and if Auburn wins and whatever.
You kind of got to look at the points though.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm saying there really won't be a ton of fluctuation. You have Kentucky's on the doorstep, but Kentucky's also losing right now to Georgia by 12. So you have 2 teams that are kind of on the doorstep, but I just don't see Tennessee falling out, and I just think Auburn and Iowa State always seems like they're just a solid team.
Solid team? I don't know if I'm picking them in March though.
No, I don't know about March. I'm just saying solid team that will be always in the top 10, maybe 15 range. They're not very fun to watch. They're just defense oriented.
Yep.
So,
team I like right now, Alabama. You always gotta like them because they play run and gun, shoot a bunch of threes, play at a high pace. I mean, if you look at their scores, 110, 88, 72, 78, 100, 85, 95, 81, 94, 83, 97, 105, 107 the last 2 games. So, like, they're putting up points. And when you do that, you get into March, you're feeling pretty good. They got Mark Sears back. He's legit. And they're just always, I mean, they can keep up with anybody. They can shoot themselves out of the game a little bit, but they can dang near very fast shoot themselves into the game as well.
Right. Well, I think that's a reason, like you said, in March, at least for Alabama, Grant Nelson's also a very good player. When you look at them, that's why they're kind of the team, though, that it's like, I feel like everyone always is like picking them to go far, but they'll always have a little bit of a scare in like the 2nd or 3rd round because they might go a little colder.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shit, we got to turn it on. And somehow they'll find a way to win that game.
Yeah.
And then the next game, they'll score 105.
Yeah.
And it's like, they just don't miss. And it's like, once they get hot, it's game over. You can't compete with them. You just can't. So.
And let's see here.
I mean, they have to be the number 1 team. They're the number 1 team in points per game. 91.1.
Yeah. I mean, they're putting up over 100.
I mean, talk about a gauntlet going into March. Kentucky, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Florida, Auburn.
Jeez.
Holy shit. That might be the hardest going into tomorrow or going into your tournament.
Which also, that could mean that you get value on them because
they could be lower.
Chances are they're not going to win all those games.
Yeah.
If they go 2-3, which like in theory 2-3, not bad when you're playing the number right now. 1, 2, 6,
14 is the worst, and 8.
8 and 14.
Yeah.
So if they go 2-3, they're probably going to bump down a little bit, right?
Sure.
You could get extra value on them, so don't be afraid of them, even if they're like a 3 seed.
Yeah, we'll see what happens come March, but yeah, they are definitely a fun team to watch.
Okay.
Next 5.
Yep.
Kentucky,
6.
Marquette, Florida, UConn, Texas A&M.
Okay.
I will say this: it is funny to see UConn. UConn's 3 losses were all in the Maui tournament.
Yep.
And so they've kind of figured out a way to turn it on.
But their guy, Liam McNeely,
Yeah, he hurt.
he hurt his foot, ankle.
Has he been out for a while?
No, it just happened. Miss weeks. To miss weeks.
I will say the one thing that is helping them, not helping them, the one thing that their conference is definitely not as strong. So it is like one of those things where it's like, hey, your conference isn't like when you're playing in the SEC and you're missing one of your big time players, it's going to make a substantial difference. Here, I mean,
Still a good conference.
No, still a good
not
conference,
as
but not.
good
I mean,
as it has been in the past.
right? Creighton's not as strong.
Yep.
I mean, Marquette's still pretty good. St. John's is actually not terrible, but it's just like you have 2 or 3 ranked teams. So I think that's the reason. You still have a solid player caravan, and so you got a good team. I think they'll be fine, but that's my team to watch. It is very interesting that they haven't lost. It'll be interesting to see if next year he sticks to his word and doesn't go to a tournament.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like they're gonna. I mean, you have to get. Do you get paid to go to those? Or does the school get some benefit? There has to be some benefit.
I don't
right?
think so.
It's just more. I don't want to say visibility, but because it always is interesting.
I mean, it's a good experience.
Yeah, good exposure, good experience.
You can't think. I mean, the players won whatever that was in Vegas this year, where they were playing, where they there was like a prize pool.
Yeah, that was the big
that
one.
was different.
And I think that's going to happen
NIL
every year.
Something or other.
Yeah, it was like $1 million.
That one's different than like the Maui Invitation or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it's a good way to play teams that you wouldn't otherwise play and help your resume.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like you're getting opportunities to improve your resume out of conference early in the year, see what your team has.
Or hurt it sometimes. But I agree, yeah, 100%. Most of the time you're helping more than you're hurting. But I do think it is. I wonder if more teams, we'll have to see in the future, if more tournaments like that will start offering
The NIL thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
incentivize good teams to come.
It's a good way to ensure that you're going to get good teams coming to your tournament, because if you're smart as a program, why wouldn't you want to go to a tournament that is going to give your players money for performing?
Like, well, it's way more incentivizing to go there, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like, perform well in these games, guys, and you'll get money.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's go do it. The team, at the beginning of the year, I think they kind of slid under the radar. Florida. They kind of came out of nowhere. Good team. They're legit. They were good last year in March Madness, and they got the same point guard back, Clayton
Jr.
And they got a transfer from FAU after their solid years. So, I mean, they're solid, and I've watched them a couple times, and I like what I'm seeing out of them.
Yeah, they just put an absolute beat down on the number 1 team in the nation. So
true, that also helps.
They're definitely good.
They won by 30.
They also have a guy on their bench who's 7'9".
Yeah,
not going to play, but yeah. What's not to like when you got a 7'9" guy?
That's just good team chemistry.
Yeah, definitely is a GPA bumper.
I mean, they should have put him in there to block that.
I was going to say, is he... If you redshirt in college basketball, you can't play at all, right? Because like in college football, can't you play like a minute?
I think
you can play a certain amount of games.
I don't really know, to be honest with you. It's either games or by a certain day that you have to
stop playing.
Decide.
Yeah.
Or you can't play in a certain amount. I don't know.
Yeah, they're a fun team to watch though.
All right, next 5: Kansas, Houston, Kansas at 11, Houston 12, Illinois 13, Mississippi State 14, Oregon 15.
Kansas, man, Jeez.
Yeah.
Figured out. Houston, though, is probably the team. I think Houston will still obviously make a push. Obviously, new conference as of last year. Were they in the Big 12 last year?
They're in the Big 12 last year, first year, yes.
Yeah, still got
I think
LJ
they tied
Cryer.
for
First, right?
the championship
Yeah.
in their first year.
I think they did.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think Houston's the team to watch. LJ Cryer, good point guard play. Obviously, always a solid defensive team. Got some big-time names. Great coach, sweatpants with the polo. Talk about him every year. So,
Kelvin Sampson. Yeah.
Big time.
My team. It's tough not to mention Kansas. I don't know what the heck's going on. I mean, I think they're realizing that Hunter Dickinson, maybe they got to figure something else out. They can't just focus all on him.
Yeah, I think Kansas is a unique team because their losses have not been to good teams.
Well, West Virginia, they're in the top 25 now.
Yeah, I guess so. One of them, Creighton. But what I'm saying is, you're also West Virginia was a close game, lost by 1. Creighton, you lost by 13, and Missouri, you lost by 9. 2 of the 3 on the road, sure, but you also lost at home to West Virginia.
Just doesn't seem like it's the same Kansas team, even though they have a lot of the same guys.
For a team, also, I think that was easily projected to be
They were like
Final Four
easily
potential,
number
championship
one.
potential.
Easily number 1 coming into the year.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and so I think I think they'll turn it around. They have too many good athletes / good coach. I think they just got to find their rhythm, and to be honest, I'd probably rather be bad now than bad at the end of the year.
Probably, yeah.
So we'll see. Next
5,
Sorry, I'm gonna pull this up.
we got Michigan State, 16.
Okay.
They always just seem like they're there.
Yep.
Oklahoma 17, Gonzaga 18, Memphis 19, Purdue 20. Purdue and Gonzaga both have 4 losses.
I will say this. I think Purdue played fine. I mean, the Gophers are god awful, but stuck with them in the first. I just don't think Purdue's as strong as they obviously have 2 veteran point guards, but I just don't think they're as strong this year as in years past. I just think they're going to falter a little bit, especially with those 2 point guards if they don't play well. Like Fletcher Lawyer probably played the game of his life against the Gophers.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't see it. They don't have that big guy presence that they've had forever in Zach Edey. So
yeah,
it's kind of tough when you miss him.
It is tough. Big hole to fill.
Yeah.
Out of those 5, okay, I think Memphis. They were surprising in the Thanksgiving-ish tournaments.
Oh yeah, they were fun to watch. They were one of the teams that beat UConn right away.
Yeah, they came on strong. And I believe Oklahoma, they were one of the last teams to be undefeated.
Oklahoma was?
I
They still have, what's the guy's names?
They only have 1 loss. Yeah,
Who's the guy from?
They just lost to Alabama as their first loss in their last game.
Who's their coach? The guy from Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, what is his name?
Mosier?
Yeah, Porter Moser.
Porter, yeah. Porter
Moser.
Yeah.
But they picked up a guy late in the recruiting cycle that reclassified, and he's good. What's his name? Jeremiah Fears.
Where's he from?
Joliet, Illinois.
Oh, he's a freshman.
He's a freshman, yeah, but he reclassed.
Interesting.
Averaging 17.9 points.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Freshman.
So they only have 1 loss.
They're what, 13?
13-1. They just lost their last game to Alabama. So there you go.
Yeah, good team.
West Virginia at 21, UCLA 22, Ole Miss 23. I feel like they haven't been good since Marshall Henderson. Michigan at 24 and Utah State at 25.
Yeah, so those 5 are actually very interesting.
He's just breaking.
Yeah, he stinks. I will say those 5 teams, obviously the bottom 5 will always change in and out. Yep. But I do think those 5 teams are very interesting. Michigan has kind of put their name back on the map. New coach, a lot of the FAU transfer guys. Danny Wolf, center, who's I just found out is also their point guard, which is crazy, 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Solid player. So it's very interesting to see them. I think it definitely strengthens the Big Ten. They were bottom 5 last year in the Big Ten. They were horrible. Michigan.
But that's what happens when you bring in a coach and bring
the guys over and you
with
get. Yeah, because this Vladislav Golden was on FAU for sure. Trey Donaldson.
I don't know if anybody else was.
Yeah, so we'll see. Auburn transfer.
Utah State.
What's going on with your boys?
UCLA?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What's going on with them? Struggling.
Top 25. I wasn't expecting them to be in the top 25, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
No. I mean, they've lost 2 out of the last 3. North Carolina, not a bad loss. At Nebraska.
Beat Gonzaga, that's a good win.
They're starting to experience the Big Ten grinded out games.
Also playing at Nebraska. No, it's at Rutgers, never mind. They have to play both, which, yeah, the grind out games now are very difficult. I mean, here's the problem with UCLA is you play at home against Michigan tonight, 9 p.m. On the 10th, you go to Maryland. That's cross country.
Mm-hmm.
Then you probably, I don't even know if you come home or you just stay out there. Then you go play at Rutgers.
Yeah.
And it's just hard. The grind is real,
especially
with all these teams.
When you're on the West Coast.
100%.
Yeah. But, I mean, they beat Oregon. That's
a
good conference win. They beat Arizona, which apparently is not good this year.
Yeah, Arizona kind of stinks. Caleb Love.
They just barely lost to North Carolina, who started the year strong, have fallen off a little bit. They beat Gonzaga. So, they have good wins.
Yeah.
So,
we'll see what happens. Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting them because they were not good last year.
No.
And so, I'm not exactly
Was
sure.
last year did they have a Tiger? Or is he 2 years ago?
I think 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
They got a couple guys that were on the team last year. I know that Sebastian Mack was on the team last year. Dylan Andrews was on the team last year. They got Sky Clark from, I want to say Rutgers.
Louisville.
That's
Illinois
what
and Louisville.
Knew it was a red team. That's all I know.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, that's just always...
It's good to see them in the top 25, though.
Yeah, they used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Blue blood, some would say.
Just give them time. They'll be right back in there.
Yeah. Do you think it's harder now with all these teams who have players not transferring, or I guess it's technically transferring, in and out, coming in and out based off of NIL, based off of all that stuff? Do you think it's harder for teams to consistently stay, produce? You look at, Louisville, a lot of their guys, probably 3 of their 5 starters are all transfer guys in.
Louisville, they have a ton of transfers because they got a new coach and they brought in a ton of guys from NIL.
Yeah,
money.
I'm saying even some of these other teams, you look at Kansas probably isn't a good example, but there's other schools where it's 3 of their 5 guys are literally new guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think it's always interesting. I feel like the beginning of the year is always
it makes it tough for consistency.
A little shell shock just because you're trying to figure out the groove.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
Talk about a team that's fallen off. Texas, man.
Yeah, they're nowhere to be found.
11-3, I guess.
Huh.
Still nowhere to be found. Yeah, craziness. Crazy. I think I saw something that the SEC. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
The worst team in the SEC, South Carolina Gamecocks, 10-4. Look at all these teams there: 13-1, 12 in this, 14-1. I mean, it's insane.
It's a lot of wins.
They have 9 out of their 16 teams are in the top 23.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
So, what is this?
Okay. And with that, we're out of here.
Yeah, with that,
there's your NCAA college men's basketball update.
There it is.
So we're moving on to next week. We're just hoping for the best on Monday night.
Hope for the best. Cheer for us. Pray for us. Do everything you got to do.
Peace out.
See you. Oh, wait. Last thing.
Mm-hmm.
I told him I'd give him a shout out. Josh Succi wanted me to give him a shout out. He's doing a fantasy thing, their fantasy football thing.
Okay.
I don't know if he wants people to join. He just told me to give it a shout out on the pod. So if you want to join, I'm going to tell you.
Explain what it is.
So it's basically you're picking a fantasy football lineup for the playoffs.
Okay.
When you pick 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers / tight end, pass catchers.
Mm-hmm.
Once you pick somebody, you can never pick them again for the remainder of the playoffs.
Okay.
Half point PPR.
Yeah.
There it is. If you want to be included, I'm going to say you can reach out right to the guy who's organizing it. You can reach out to Jake Succi.
Or Josh.
Or Josh. Jake
Right.
was the one that sent out the normal email.
Give a spelling so that everybody knows who to reach out to.
So
you can probably find them on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram DMs, or you can email him. I just know it's JACOB.SUCIU.
We're going Jake or Josh?
Jacob, I don't know Josh's email. Jake was the one that's
talking Instagram.
Oh, well, okay. So you can look him up on Instagram, or you can just email him. But Instagram, their names are Josh Succi. So the last name's still spelled the same.
What is it?
SUCIU.
Yep.
What a dot. And I don't know if Jake has an Instagram. He was just the one that emailed. I would assume he does. Seems like he's with the times. But if you want Instagram, go to Josh. If you want to email, go to the email I just said. I believe it's at Gmail. So jacob.succi@gmail.com.
Okay, when's the cutoff?
Cutoff is Saturday. You got to pay him Venmo. But just reach out to him probably by...
To understand, get the rules.
Thursday, Friday. To understand the rules, he'll send you the spreadsheet. He'll send you everything you need. There it is.
Who won last year?
No idea.
No.
Did you? You won the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh. We're not going to talk about real fantasy. That actually matters. But anyway, so there it is.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.